Here we go again. Anything is possible. And the crowd absolutely love it. This is why we love Formula One.
Viva Las Vegas, eh? That will be the song ringing out from the Red Bull garages. Max Verstappen has taken another win here in Las Vegas under the night lights. After an aggressive start from Norris, saw him miss his braking point. Verstappen took the lead and never looked back. Some late drama with McLaren fuel issues potentially. We'll get into all of that. But for now, let's welcome you in to our post-race show. And down here to such a busy pit lane. And
Sorry.
you may have heard Alex Jakes wondering if James Hinchcliffe was actually in the Mickey Mouse costume dancing at the Bellagio fountains. I'm not sure what's happened here.
It's a long run. It's a long run from Bellagio, and I got to change out of the suit. It was a whole thing.
Laurent Neckis has no idea what's going on, so I'll ask him a question.
You guys are having fun, which is good.
We are having fun. Are you having fun, Laurent? I'd imagine you are after
a bit
that.
better now, a bit better now. Yes.
Okay, talk us through it then. Obviously, the start, Lando's super aggressive off it, straight into the path of Max Verstappen. They avoid contact. At that point, Max takes the lead. And how then was that race managed from the Red Bull pit wall?
Look, it was close to perfection, really. Can't ask for much more. You know, the start was great. He could attack Lando. Lando did a sort of mistakes in turn one or went wide, and Max got the lead. And then it was a bit of a question mark for all of us on what pace everyone was really going to have. Certainly, the pace looked good enough to stay there, not to have to defend too much. George was very fast in the opening phase of the race, and then everybody had to deal with the tire degradation and tire graining. And again, that's one of the good news of today, is that we seem to be a bit superior to competition in that respect, with Max could push from pretty much from the start of the stint to the end, and it gave us a great advantage today. So, you know, big well done to Max, big well done to the team, because everything was there today. The rhythm, the strategy, the tire management, the execution, so was really good.
Laurent, we heard a really interesting radio message late in the race after Lando got around George Russell. GP came on and said, with a little bit of a cheeky comment, maybe a cheeky tone, apparently Lando's been sent to come get us. Immediately Max responded. That gap never got any smaller. Did you guys just have pace in hand all evening?
No, I have to say that, when GP passed him that message, it probably fired up Max a little bit, because the pace after just went unstoppable. And I think he did the fastest lap joke again at the very end. So, yeah, he obviously had some pace in the pocket, which is a great news. And he obviously had some tire potential left in the car, which is also a good news for all the work that is being done in the background. So, again, a masterclass from Max and for the team, so well done to everyone.
Laurent, 150th race with Honda, matched his 69th race. We thought you had it in the bag from the beginning, that skinny rear wing inside the Red Bull camp. Did you have the confidence from the beginning that you were going to win this one? And going into Qatar and Abu Dhabi, which are potentially more in McLaren's favour, do you now think you have the package to take 2 more wins off of them?
No, I know you don't like it, but we really look at it race by race, and the equations in Qatar is so different to here. You know, you will go to the heat, as you say, to the high-speed corners, like the exact opposite on everything compared to Vegas. Vegas was a tricky one to nail because it's unique, and it's one where we have suffered last year a lot, and it's good. You know, all we can say is that we got it.
Hello, Fred.
I need to go. He's going to get upset. All right. But anyway, it was a good race, but we reset and we will think about Qatar next week.
Don't miss your plane.
Are you flying with Fred? Is that what he just said?
I hope not.
We'll let you go then, Laurent, if Fred's
Right.
calling for you.
Thank you, guys.
But well done. Congratulations today. Brilliant stuff from Red Bull. There we go. Fred Vasseur just alongside here as well. Right. Absolutely crazy out here, isn't it? Just nuts, the atmosphere. But Max Verstappen, he was our pick in weekend warm-up. It's actually rare that we get something right, but we did. Did he do it in the manner in which you anticipated, Ruth?
For once, yeah. I mean, we said, like, you know, he has everything to win, nothing to lose at the start. So, same for George. Both of them made a great start. They absolutely nailed it. And, you know, honestly, when we're saying that Red Bull 3-second stop is a bad day for them, like, I think that was the only micro error they made. They completely commanded the race, you know, absolutely stunning, made the most of that free air pace, you know. Huge congratulations. I think it's a thoroughly well done win. There was other heroes today, but, you know, first and foremost, well done to them. When a wild Fred Vasseur comes up, the sportsmanship to say well done to Laurent Meskis and, you know, maybe hurry him along. It's brilliant. Well done, Red Bull.
Absolutely. Let's take a look back then at the race highlights from the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Welcome to round 22, held on a cool night in Sin City. Here come the lights in Vegas, and we're underway and racing down to turn number 1. Lando Norris is going to need the job, but it's super aggressive from the pole sitter. Who's off? Who's wide? The lead for Max Verstappen. Late braking move for Charles Leclerc, and he gets past the Haas. Contact between Alex Albon and Lewis Hamilton. Chance for Oscar Piastri to buy a car, moving by, reacting well, and is this the chance to get past? It is. Coming in, Lando Norris from P2 on the road.
He finds himself coming out behind George Russell.
As this is a high-pressure pit stop to try and maintain the lead, and Max Verstappen peels out of the pit lane and maintains the race lead. DRS will open for Lando Norris. Norris straight by, up to second position. You cannot count him out. Heading to Qatar, still with a chance. The Dutch driver will look up and see the checkered flag first. Max Verstappen wins the Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Oh, simply lovely, that.
Yeah, the title fight well and truly still alive there. Norris on 408 points, Oscar Piastri 30 behind, and Verstappen not far behind that, 12 points. We have managed to find Fred Vasseur as he was trying to jump in on our interview with Laurent Meskis. We thought we'd come in just next door to speak to him. It was a P6 and a P10 today, Fred, and I know on a normal day for Ferrari that may not be exactly what you want, but do you think that was the maximum you could have got from today?
Oh, but honestly, it's not today that we missed something. It was yesterday, starting from P9, P20, and the contact with Alonso, turn 1 for Charles. Then to come back P6, P10, it's a good race. That it's more the quality that we missed something. We were in a good shape on the FP. I don't know if it was Friday or Thursday now, but FP1, FP2. And quali, we missed the quali, and it's a bit of a shame because the pace was good today. We know that with the choice of aero for Charles, it was quite impossible for us to overtake. He was able to do good move at the beginning of the race, but when he came back behind Piastri, he was stuck behind.
Hamilton obviously had that rough qualifying yesterday, but from where he was starting to get up into the points, was that something you guys thought was possible?
Oh yeah, it's always possible. If you have a look on what Kimi did, Kimi did a very good race also because he was able to stay in clean air 47 laps, that as soon as you are behind someone, you are damaging the tires. And he did very well in terms of strategy to be in clean air all the race. And I think for Lewis, we had part of the race when we put the set of medium a bit more difficult. We were a bit lost in terms of pace to know what pace that they have to put into the tires. But overall, it's a good recovery from P20. Again, as for Charles, it's not today that we missed it.
Fred, I thought the reverse strategy with Lewis starting on the yes, nice, isn't it? Fred used to be my boss, and he's already shouted at me for my outfit. I don't think he likes it. You can borrow it if you want.
No, I'm not sure.
but with Lewis, you started on that hard tyre, went for the alternate strategy. Did you ever consider starting on the soft tyre, like Antonelli, as you said, they did the other alternate strategy?
Honestly, it would be easy to say yes today, but I think nobody expected to do so many laps with hard that it was completely out of the plan for us. I don't know if for Mercedes, they started to do another stop, and then as the pace was consistent to stay on track, I think it's probably more this than something else. But no, the plan was to do a medium soft, and I think even on the grid, I had the feeling that some teams, they were expecting to do 2 stops, and we were on 1 stop, and it was already aggressive. But to do a 0 stop like Kimi was mega aggressive.
Mega aggressive.
Fred, I did enjoy the radio from Charles Leclerc at one point. I'm driving like an animal. He was aggressive out there, wasn't he? I think we've got a compilation of his overtakes.
As to Charles. But it was true that he was pushing like an animal.
Here he is, all of the overtakes from Charles Leclerc. What's going through your mind on the pit wall when you've got a race radio like that and you're seeing this?
I like the animals.
Which animal would he be?
No, he did very, very well. But at one stage, we were struggling with the downforce, and when the others they started to struggle with tires, we were able to overtake because we had a better exit of turn 12. But as soon as that everybody was more consistent with the tires, it was almost impossible.
Fred, I know it's been a tricky few weeks, few weekends, few race weekends recently. Looking ahead then to Qatar and Abu Dhabi, where do you think Ferrari will sit? You are still in touching distance in this fight for P2.
Target is still to win a race until the end of the season. Issue is that Brazil, I think the pace was good, and we had a tough race. This weekend we had a tough quali. We really need to put everything together to do a clean weekend if we want to win something, but let's try again next week.
Well, Fred, look, thank you for joining us, and well done today. I think, yeah, as you say, it was a good result given where you started from. Merci. Brilliant stuff. Ciao, Fred. Okay, let's hear then from Charles Leclerc.
Charles, that early phase of the race, you were so quick, and I thought you'd be fighting for a podium at that, and then it kind of all went wrong with the strategy, not, just got undercut. Just talk me through how you're feeling.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The strategy, I had a bit of a feeling in the car that we had done something wrong. I think Oscar was behind, he undercutted us. I think there was other cars that were behind that undercutted us. I think also Antonelli undercutted us. So it was a bit of a shame because there we lost a good opportunity to do something special, because I felt like the pace was there. Unfortunately, on the second stint, I had Oscar in front that had a DRS of Kimi. And already I was on high downforce, and it was nearly impossible to overtake on the first stint. I had to take massive risks. On the second stint, it was just impossible to overtake Oscar. He was way too fast. So a bit of a shame for that second stint. But I really enjoyed the first part. It was entertaining, but very frustrated about the end result.
How do you look at the weekend as a whole? Obviously a difficult day yesterday in the wet. The pace obviously looked a little bit better today in the dry. How do you kind of leave Las Vegas feeling?
Disappointed. I mean, P6 is not what I wanted, especially after Thursday. That was very positive. The Friday, very difficult in the rain, and then the Saturday, very positive in terms of pace, but just starting too far away. So we've got to really work on our wet pace, because it's been too many times the case of us being on the back foot, and we are paying the price at the end of a year. When you look at all the qualifying, the wet qualifying, the wet races, we are just leaving too many points on the table. And so this is for sure a priority that I'll set myself from now on. It was already one, but probably now it's even higher up because we're struggling too much.
Thanks, Charles.
A slightly more dejected Charles Leclerc than the team boss Fred Vasseur that we've just had here. Fred always turns it on and gives a good interview, but he's realistic as well. Do you think, given the level of downforce they put on Charles's car, they could have foreseen perhaps the strategy and when they pitted him, in that he wouldn't be able to therefore get those positions back, Ruth?
Not really.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, I know.
I think it was less the downforce decision. It was, Fred mentioned it himself. Antonelli, whether they did it by plan or intentionally or not, they undercut him. They went early and then they didn't stop again. The same, I have to say, sometimes McLaren aren't that aggressive on strategy. Today they were. They nailed it with Oscar. He gained 2 positions. One of them was on Charles, and I think that was the kind of the nail in the coffin. And then it's really difficult to overtake here unless you have a pace or a top speed advantage. It's not just that car that has it, but yeah.
So for you, it's more a case of McLaren good strategy rather than Ferrari outright bad.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But from inside the car, that's a really tough thing to know, right? So in his mind, he's making these passes on track in that first stint, and then he finds himself behind these cars again later in the race. So immediately afterwards from the driver's seat, it's tough to understand exactly what happened. It's easy to be frustrated from I was going to say Saturday, from the qualifying. with an inherent issue with that car in the wet. That's obviously something they need to fix. But then he was doing a good job. He was making the best of it and feels like he was robbed of a couple places despite doing his best on track. It's a tricky position for the driver at that point.
You say they need to fix it. I think Charles was saying yesterday it's been a perennial issue since he joined the team. They can't get a handle of that car in the wet. Fred, they're saying we want to still win a race by the end of the season. I think it's fair to say, even given F1 standards, we may not see rain in Qatar and Abu Dhabi. I hope I haven't jinxed it, but I'm sure it's pretty rare out there. Where are Ferrari in terms of those two races, and will we see them on the top step?
I feel like Abu Dhabi's always been a decent track for them, but the problem is there's a lot of other decent cars out there. So relatively, they might be closer, but even if, let me put it this way, their pace could be competitive, but then you absolutely have to nail and execute every element of the weekend, and that seems to be the struggle right now. It's tough for them to put together all 3 days of a weekend, both sessions, Friday, Saturday, execute all throughout the stops, throughout the race on Sunday. It's going to take an absolutely flawless weekend from them, and maybe a bit of a trip up from the likes of Red Bull, the likes of McLaren, for them to pull off a win.
And of course, for McLaren, both drivers, for Max Verstappen, there's a title at stake as well. Those stakes could not be higher. For Oscar Piastri then, as Charles was saying, just impossible to overtake him with the speed he was at. Damage limitation, do we think, for Oscar Piastri? Is that the most he could have maximised from today? Could he have done more at the start?
Yeah, I think that's probably the only bit that he'll review. The undercut was brilliant.
Yeah.
He absolutely nailed that outlap, which is tricky here at the best of times. It's certainly difficult when you have a championship on your shoulders to get it right. Looking at the race start, I think, as you see him get the getaway, he's good. Look at the positioning. I think he's going to. But I'll leave it to the driver.
I was going to say, the issue is he got hit by the racing move, right? I mean, he did maybe not get the absolute best getaway, but ultimately he was shoved out of the way by, I believe it was Lawson into turn one there, has to go off track, loses a couple spots. So he's already having to make up. We were hoping he was going to gain 2 positions off the start. He ended up losing 2 positions off the start.
But he only got touched by Lawson because Lawson had a better start than him. Because you go.
Well, let's keep an eye on Lawson, right? So you see the white racing bull there. He just goes in a bit. He missed the corner. I mean, Lawson wasn't turning in. Oscar was. But yes, fine, he got a good launch. But he also just completely outbraked himself. Not as much, though, as this man here, trying to come back from a first lap out in his home race in Brazil. You can see he hit the brakes, barely missed the Williams in front of him, and absolutely clobbered Lance Stroll. 2 weekends in a row. It's a rookie move, but I mean, he's going to be kicking himself. He's going to lose some sleep over that one for the next week.
Yeah, he was in the pen earlier and said, look, put my hands up here. I'm really sorry. Sorry to Lance Stroll. Entirely my fault. Missed my braking point. But you understand it, don't you, just looking at those starts and hurtling into turn one, because we have such limited reference points, data, learnings from practice, right? I mean, it's tough for any driver out there, whether you're Fernando Alonso or Max Verstappen, or you've got 22 Grand Prix under your belt now.
And I think that's where the experience comes in, is the Fernando Alonso's and Lewis Hamiltons have had weekends where they didn't get a lot of running and a lot of data, and they know how to maybe address the first lap in those situations. Gabby just, it's so easy to do, especially that far back, tons of dirty air, just misjudge it. It happens, he's human, but he's going to be bummed for sure.
Well, for Oscar Piastri, P4 today, the gap to Lando Norris, his teammate and championship rival, has opened up to 30 points. Yes, the title fight is still on, but it could be sewn up in Qatar. Let's hear from Oscar.
Oscar, I don't really know how to describe that race. In one way, at least, you kind of minimised the points gap in the Drivers' Championship. In another way, you kind of felt like more progress was possible. How are you feeling after overall?
Don't really know what to think, to be honest. I think first lap was eventful, to say the least. And then, a couple of mistakes after that, which didn't help. The team did a really good job in kind of getting our race back on track with the strategy. So that was probably the highlight of the race. And then, obviously got stuck behind Kimi, got close on one lap, and lost all grip when I tried to get alongside, and then I couldn't get close enough again. So that made life pretty tough, but bit of a feeling of more on the table.
Still obviously comfortably in the championship fight, it's just obviously the gap is still quite big heading to Qatar. How are you feeling about that going into that next race?
I mean, it is what it is. I think I'm going to try my best, obviously, for the next 2 races. and try and put myself in the best position possible. You know, there's still a lot of laps left to go. A lot can still happen, but I need to make sure that I'm in the best position to capitalize if that happens. That's all I can do now. So I'll set my sights on that and see how we go.
Thanks, Oscar. Cheers.
Qatar has been a happy hunting ground for Oscar Piastri in the 2 seasons he has been in Formula One. So he'll be glad, I think, to be going back to that track. But yes, he's minimised the points damage. It could have been far more. Could have been better, I suppose, couldn't it? We're going to have to get into what happened with McLaren, because in those dying laps of the race, Lando Norris was losing 3.5 seconds a lap to Max Verstappen. He was almost coming back into the clutches of George Russell behind. We are hearing a fuel issue. That's what was being banded on radio. Ruth, what were you seeing on telemetry? What have you heard?
Yeah, I felt like Laura was my team principal when I was trying to give her the strategy feedback. She's like, what's going on with the car? And I was looking through the numbers. So what we can see, what every other team in the pit lane can see, was Lando lifting on the straight. So then we go into diagnosis of, you know, is it that the brakes are failing? Because the way that happens is it happens a little bit, then a bit more, then a bit more, then loads. It wasn't that. It didn't look like anything to do with the brakes. And then on team radio, there was some kind of codes that could be there. And then his race engineer, Will Joseph, came on and said, looks like we're a bit better on the fuel now. So it looked like they were fuel critical. We don't know that. Maybe they'll confirm it to us. What teams have to do is they have to, well, finish the laps, finish the race, and then provide a fuel sample again at the end of the race, which is, you know, for legality. So they might be tipping and draining, try and get it out. So the car, again, could be fine. There could be further repercussions if they are fuel critical and they didn't save. There was another message about picking up rubber, which is what you do to make sure you're on weight. Yeah. It's an interesting one. You know, it doesn't normally happen. And if it does, if you find out like you're fuel critical, it's a bit like credit card debt. So if you save it a little bit, it's fine. If it's suddenly trying to save it in the last 3 laps, it suddenly spirals and gets on top of you. So most teams, we make a calculation, right, in terms of what we think the fuel effect's going to be. And then you kind of adapt and adjust how it is. You know, maybe you're lapped, you're not lapped, but with laps under the safety car, for example, you might underfuel it. Now, this is part of the game. We have meetings every week to define what fuel we want to put in the car, and you can't, you know, really afford to put a load extra in because you'll just lose the race based on that. So really interesting, but also interesting that they, if it is fuel, that they reacted so late.
How does it happen that the car does get to a point where it's fuel critical? If you have, as you're saying, and all teams will do it, we don't see it week in, week out, so it's rare, but you have these meetings and you're set. Is it due to a lack of learning over the weekend? Is it?
Yeah, exactly that. So it can be that you guessed the pace too slow. So, you know, you say that you have a kind of base lap time you estimate you're going to be circulating at. So if you think that the track is going to be much slower than it is, then you're lapping a lot faster. It could be that you think that you were going to be in traffic and then you're pushing in free air. And so then you're putting extra fuel in. It could be you think you can have DRS. It could be as easy as the fact that you think you might have been pushing on a 2-stop or saving, which might be it here. If you thought there was a lot more graining, you might have factored that in, that you were going to be saving for the whole race, saving tyres. You coincidentally also save fuel. There's lots of different ways in which you can get it wrong. Teams actually plot it across the whole season. There's kind of 5 or 6 ways in which you can do it. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what comes out of that, because it is, you know, if it is that, it's a mistake.
And it's the late thing that's interesting to me, because halfway through the race, you should be able to kind of track that, graph that out and think, okay, we might be a bit shy here. Let's save 4% a lap, something like that, which would be almost imperceptible in the lap time. When you're saving 3 seconds for the last 5-6 laps, that is a tremendous amount of fuel that you're trying to get back. And so, yeah, something's gone critically wrong there. And I'm also very interested to see what it is.
Olivia Panis won in the wet in Monaco because they accidentally underfueled the car, but then it rained and he got away with it.
Short the race.
So it was. So it could go both ways, guys.
Yeah, I find it fascinating. We don't often see mistakes from these teams. They operate at the very, very highest levels. Look, we'll keep you updated, of course, if anything comes from it, if there are any repercussions. We've not heard anything just yet, but thank you for that explanation, Ruth, as to what was happening. Briefly on Lando, I want to talk about the start. You liked the aggression, perhaps not the execution of it. I love DC's line in commentary in which he said he's playing Max Verstappen at his game but doesn't quite know the rules.
Yeah.
Is that a blip for Lando, though? We've been talking about him soaking up the pressure and really getting into these moments. this to me was a slight step back in a sense, I suppose.
No, I actually look at it the other way. I think if anything, the times that we've, I hate to use the word been critical, but like maybe had some comments about Lando starts, it's almost that he's been too conservative. He's the championship leader. He's got more to lose than anybody, and he did a super aggressive move to defend. He got it a little bit wrong. That happens. I liked that he went for the aggressive cut, the aggressive chop on Max. And, you know, a little bit of a lesson learned, but I think it was great that he was bold enough to give it a whirl.
Yeah, aggression's what it's all about, and he's championship leaders still, 30 points this gap. Talking of championship leaders and champions, we are joined by F1 Academy champion Dorian Pan. Dorian, congratulations. I spoke to you in Parc Ferme just out the car, and the emotion emanating from you was contagious. It was brilliant. You've had a few hours now just to let it all sink in. How are those emotions now?
Very high still, very emotional moments. Obviously winning a championship is not every day, so I'm enjoying as much as possible. It's been such 2 good years, and especially this year has been very successful, and very happy about winning the championship with all my team and all the people that helped me since the beginning of my career.
And the last few laps of the race were incredibly stressful. I ran from our office to come to Parc Ferme, and you had full control. You were behind Maya, then you'd overtaken her. Then suddenly Maya was in P2, bearing down on Chloe Chambers for the win. The win would have won her the championship. What goes through your mind in these ever-changing moments?
Yeah, I really wanted to do a good race, not thinking so much about the championship because I wanted to finish on a high. But yeah, we were P3 at one point, but then they have been very aggressive because, you know, they have nothing to lose and we have a championship to win. So definitely very smart managed overall from us, from also last the reverse grid on Saturday. And we have just finished the job, and yeah, shame it's not the podium because I always fight for something that I really want, but we had to take it like this and enjoy as much as possible because we have been very successful, and especially this last round in Vegas, we nailed it completely.
Doria, I want to talk about your mindset a little bit going into this final race because you did have a healthy points gap, kind of like Lando Norris is right now, and we've talked a lot about Lando. Is it a time in a championship for him to start being a little more conservative, not be as aggressive? But I watched that last race. You were not holding back at all. So how did you kind of go into that race and decide which approach you were going to have?
Yeah, going to that race, we had only 9 points between Maya and myself, so it's actually very tight, but the approach of the weekend has been very good. Focusing on the present and focusing on taking lap by lap, and we did almost the full job on Saturday race, winning with fastest lap and Maya 0 points. So 20 points is obviously a very good advantage, and yeah, as I said, I would have loved to win the race today, but we have to show that we are aggressive and we deserve this win, and we were fully there, even if the championship was going into the last race. So I give everything I could, and then the last few laps I enjoy it.
Dorian, congratulations. You're one of the few people in the world that has experienced racing in the rain around Las Vegas in yesterday's race. Can you please explain, because I'm actually genuinely interested. I've been dying to talk to you guys about it. What was it like racing in the rain, and what a stage for F1 Academy?
Was insane. Was completely crazy. I mean, the track is so slippery. It's not like Singapore or Jeddah. It's very different. Obviously, it's very cold as well. So. And actually we decided to put the wet on the grid, and the others put it on the pit lane already, so they had better tires and was able to do the pressure drop and the snow. So the car was very unpredictable. Obviously we were on the setup for fully dry condition. We didn't expect the rain at all, so was really very slippery, very easy to make a small mistake with big consequences behind, but I think we adapted to the condition very quickly, and we made the difference. So really happy about the win and very proud because it was not an easy one, but that is so cool. Yeah.
Dorian, final one from me. You've made such a brilliant account of yourself this weekend. I love that even though you've won F1 Academy, you're still like, I could have won race 2 though. I'd like to have at least been on the podium. That's that driver instinct that will never go. It's been a brilliant 2 years following your trajectory. You came so close last year. You've got it done this year. What of the future? What platform has this given you?
We haven't decided yet. We will start the discussion after Vegas because the deal was to win the championship. So now we have done it. I've done the full job. So now we focus on the future. I'm sure it will be. I will have so many opportunities. We had to decide what would be the best to have a successful career and a long one, because I want to achieve my goals, and my goals is Formula One. So I will keep working hard to be there, competitive and fighting with the best of the world.
And actually, sorry, final one from me, and it leads nicely into our next interview with Toto Wolff that's coming up very soon. What has support from Mercedes meant to you? How much has that given you in your career?
Yeah, they have been there from day one. From the day I joined the program, they always been very helpful, off track and on track. Obviously, the support from Toto and the whole team has been very important to me, and they bring so much experience into my young racing career. At the end, they have been so successful, so I can only learn from them and progress and improve and being a better driver every day. So we are champion together, definitely, and I'm very proud that we are writing a story together.
Champion sounds pretty good, doesn't it? It's been an absolute pleasure to watch your career over the last 2 years. Thank you for being part of F1 Academy, and congratulations. So thrilled for you. Let's hear from the boss then, shall we? It's Toto Wolff.
Toto, what's your assessment of today? Your driver is standing up there on the podium. You must be quite proud of that result.
Yeah, like P3, P5, it's a really respectable and solid result.
Just give us your assessment of how things unfolded, because it didn't sound necessarily easy. George Russell sounded like he was nursing some sort of issue. Can you give us a little bit more insight?
What was your question?
Could you give us a little bit more insight into the issue that George seemed to be nursing throughout the race?
There was an issue with the steering which we haven't yet identified, and then obviously the tire throughout the race wasn't great on his car. We need to find out what that was. But he was then driving it in a way to save the podium.
Do you feel that without those issues you would have had the pace to challenge for the win against Max and Lando?
In the first stint he definitely was very fast, and we were right there, good enough to win. I'm not sure, but obviously when you're in the lead, you don't have the dirty air, it's much easier.
And now also a word on Kimi's race. I mean, that was fantastic performance from him to start P17 and cross the line P4. What's your thoughts on his showing?
Very good. I mean, this was, for me, the best race of the season. Starting P17, unlucky in the qualifying. He deserved to be quick, to be in a better position. Finishing P5 with a 5-second penalty, that's pretty impressive.
Well, I'll let you go and enjoy the podium. Thank you very much, Toto.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toto. Thank you, Ariana Bravo, as well, for asking the questions. Brilliant to hear from Dorian on what's been, I think it's fair to say, a good day for Mercedes. George Russell on the podium. But that drive from Kimi Antonelli was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was so good, and what I loved about it was at the end of the race, near the end of the race, under big pressure from Oscar Piastri, not only does he hold up under that pressure on much older tires, he found a bit of pace and started pulling away. I mean, he showed the maturity, the growth that I think he's seen, especially under pressure in Brazil. I mean, Toto just said that may have been his best drive of the year. I'm still going to give him Brazil as maybe a little bit better, but that was mighty, mighty impressive from the youngster. And he's on this trajectory right now where he's improving a little bit every race. He's really starting to understand how the races unfold. It's a shame he lost that one position from the penalty, but at the same time, it's great it was only one position that he lost from that penalty. Just under 0.2 of a second.
0.19 he managed to eke out over Charles Leclerc. And look, we were saying that Kimi seems to be coming into some form on tracks that he doesn't know that well. In Europe, the expectation perhaps was getting to him, but now not only is this a track we don't know, it seems some of the most treacherous conditions we've seen, Ruth, and there's no data for him to go off, and still he puts in a performance. What's clicking for him, do we think, coming into the end of this season?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Because it could be that, or it could be it's just taking him a bit of time, and actually it's just coincidental that as we get into the rhythm of the season that, he's finding his form, he's finding his legs. And, do you know what? I loved their strategy choice today, and I loved his execution of their strategy choice today. I wanted Lewis to start on the soft. I wanted someone to put it on red. They put it on red. They started on soft. They launched it, and then what's even cooler is that I think I agree with Fred in that they pivoted from doing a 2-stop into a 1-stop and undercut half the grid. It was glorious.
What I think will be so interesting to see, though, Ruth, on your point about Kimi, and maybe it's just the time in the car and the experience he's getting. We're going to Qatar and Abu Dhabi next. He's raced at both of those tracks. So maybe not as much as some of the tracks in Europe, but there's going to be maybe a little bit more expectation. I'm sure he did the rookie test at Abu Dhabi, so he's driven an F1 car around Abu Dhabi. So does he have that kind of form that we're seeing the last few rounds and that we've seen at other tracks he's going to maybe without that expectation? Or do we see that expectation start to creep back in? I think the next 2 weeks are going to be kind of interesting to see where he really sits at the end of his rookie year.
Let's just hope he holds still at the start, because it was such a shame to see a 5-second penalty for what was otherwise a brilliant performance from rookie Kimi Antonelli. He, though, finished behind, as did everybody else, Max Verstappen. Let's hear from your race winner with Lawrence Barretto.
Hey Max, congratulations. Mega win, mega performance across the whole day. How pleased are you with the way that you handled that start and obviously the rest of the race?
Yeah, I mean, start was of course good to get ahead and try to just do your own pace and see if that was quick enough or not. And I think over the whole stint, we were very consistent. We could do a few more laps compared to some others, and that was of course then probably also crucial on the final set where. Again, you don't know if they're going to last very well, but it's all about just trying to feel, am I pushing enough or not? Am I managing enough? But we did well. I think also the communication with the pit wall was very strong about that. So, very happy with today.
And chipping away into Lando's lead in the championship, I know it's still a bit of a gap for the last 2 races, but you pleased that you're still at least in the fight and still going for it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a very big gap. So for me, till the end, it's all about just trying to maximize everything we can, try to win if we can. So with that, today was a very good day for us.
Okay, so thanks, Max.
A very good day. It really was for Max Verstappen, wasn't it? He is 42 points behind Lando Norris and just 12 behind Oscar Piastri. Let's take a look then at the schedule for our next Grand Prix, which comes thick and fast. We are heading in to the middle of the triple header to finish the season. So weekend warm-up comes to you from Qatar at 8:30 p.m. Don't forget, it's another evening race out there. And then practice, 4:15, building up to that one. I've forgotten it's a sprint race. It's a sprint race in Qatar. 8:15, building up to sprint qualifying. And then, of course, we've got the pre-sprint show at 4:20, the sprint race at 5 p.m, the post-sprint straight afterwards, and then into the Grand Prix format itself. 8:30 for your pre-quali show, a 9 o'clock start for qualifying, the post-show with all the reaction, and race day back to a normal Sunday, 6 p.m. for the pre-race show, 7 p.m. start for the Qatar Grand Prix and your post-race show straight afterwards. And importantly, for this weekend, more points on offer. And you can see the Lusail circuit there. We'll be heading there in a week's time. All three of us, Ruth? No Ruth in Qatar, but James and I will be heading to Qatar to continue this brilliant title story. Okay, 42 points is the gap. From Lando to Max, 30 points Lando to Oscar. Lando can win it in Qatar. Is he going to? James Hinchcliffe.
I don't know. This is...
Get off the fence.
This okay. All right. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, he's not, because if in this stretch of races since the summer break, there's one track that you would circle as an Oscar Piastri advantage, it would be Qatar for me. And we've seen him improve in some of these low grip tracks, but we've had a lot of low grip tracks in a row. It's kind of highlighting his struggles. We're going back to fast corners, high grip, mandated 2 stops now. So it's not going to be about saving tires. It's going to be about pushing the whole day. I think we can see old Oscar creep back in. That guy can fight for a win against Lando. He keeps it alive enough to go to Abu Dhabi.
Ruth, your final thoughts from here in Vegas ahead of the final two?
Viva Las Vegas. What a Grand Prix. Can't wait for the next one. I've had on coming here back next week, so, you know, that's why I'm missing Qatar. What a race, what a qualifying.
Well, we'll see you in Abu Dhabi, though. We've got 2 races remaining here of the 2025 season. The title fight is still on. Join us next weekend in Qatar for all the action on F1 TV.
It's race day in Qatar. It is fast, it is flowing, it is physical.
Welcome to Qatar.
The Qatar Grand Prix is underway. Max Verstappen, he's got the lead of the Grand Prix. Oh my word, cars everywhere. We're underneath the floodlights at the Sail International Circuit.
This is the Qatar Grand Prix.
Max Verstappen wins the Qatar Grand Prix.
Certainly lovely, guys.